Hello and welcome on the Watches TV. Today we will pursue our series dedicated to the evolution of watchmaking, distribution and retailing, and we will do so with a good friend of mine, Thomas Baillod, who worked extensively in distribution for some large brands of the industry. So his insights that he shares with us is of course very interesting and hands-on, but he will also talk about a very disruptive approach called Brand Cloud, which uses blockchain technology to change the entire distribution channels, from the brand to the end consumer.
So the digital marketing is an evidence for everyone, but nobody really understood now what the digital revolution means into distribution. And I think that's the next big wave that we are already experiencing. The fact that today there are numerous of possibilities to reach directly the end consumers. So as you brand, you can definitely reach the end consumer without having to go through the intermediaries. And don't misunderstand me, nobody is making a lot of money with the intermediaries because the distributors have a lot of responsibility. They have to buy the stock and ultimately their margin is very small. And of course the retailers, they enjoy a good margin, but they have to pay the rent of the stores, they have to pay the employees, they have to pay the stock that they own. And this is as well a very big immobilization. So I don't think that the intermediaries make a lot of money either. And because there is the temptation of getting that margin, and because there are no other possibilities with the digital medias, with the internet, etc., to come closer to the end consumer, there are clear signs that brands are somehow trying to get closer to the end consumer, saying we will sell online our products. The fact is that when you sell online, you have to respect, of course, the recommended price. What would it take for a brand one day to say, look, I will sell your watch on the normal retail at 100, but believe it or not, I will sell it on internet at 60 or 50, meaning half the price. Of course, right away, the distribution network would completely block them and say, look, if you do this, we don't want to work with you. So the brands, the established brand today, of course, they have no way to go around the distribution. So they are setting internet sales. The truth is that sales are not, let's say, booming online because people first seek the price when they buy online. But they are already starting to do it, and you even see more and more initiative. And if you listen well to the news and to the market, you understand nearly on a weekly basis. You have news, you have brands that started to make Kickstarters, established brand. We're not talking about the newcomers, established brand that make Kickstarter, meaning they disrupt their distribution network and sells at half the price. The first pieces, the first launch, then these pieces will be at double the price nearly in their network. Then you have Mr. Beaver, for instance, that gently warns the retailers, saying if you don't upgrade, one day we'll have to jump over you. Then you have Bohm, for instance, Richemont Group, it's not a small group, that launch an online-only brand. Of course, the brand itself, for its own sake, will be developed. But I think by this, they want to have a first foot in the new way of selling and make their own experience. Richemont Group not only have created Bohm, but they have invested heavily billions in Net-a-Porter, Mr. Porter. And that's as well a clear sign, of course, that the groups are willing to invest into these new distribution channels. If you consider what's happening, you have basically the whole watch industry, the Swiss watch industry, that is handing the whole distribution, giving the whole distribution to the majors, distributors, rather North American. And ultimately, if those majors dominate the distribution and tomorrow they will be, let's say, the only channels to sell a watch, it means that the Swiss watch industry is putting in the hand all its production in the hands of the majors. And they will potentially tomorrow lose any possibility to be selling outside these majors. The disruption is not just I'm selling online, of course. There are many things that are missing in the middle, and of course, especially for the Swiss watch industry, people want to touch the watches. So there are more and more initiatives, ways or facts, so that let's say, the watch can get closer to the end consumer without sometimes going through the traditional network. There are as well very interesting initiatives. One, for instance, that stands out, it's called Brand Cloud. Brand Cloud is a complete disruption of the way we buy and sell watches. It doesn't mean that you eradicate or you go over the intermediaries. It means that you deal differently with them. we have worked until now in silos. The brand sells the watches to a distributor, the distributor sells to a retailer, the retailer sells to the end consumer, and everybody owns the product. With this brand cloud, for instance, you will not own the product, you will just have the right to sell it. So that changed pretty much the perspective, because the brand is in direct contact with the end consumer, and the intermediaries are not owning anything, they just facilitate the business. Plus, because the brand sells directly to the end consumer, the brand can monitor the price. It means that there is no discount anymore. So it means that at a certain point, you cannot disrupt like Amazon is doing, etc., that they are maybe lowering the prices. You cannot do it anymore because the price is controlled by the brand, and there is no way to sell the watch if not through this program which can manage the prices. It means that the retailers can fight at equal force together against a Chronext, against Amazon, etc., etc., and they have the same chances to sell the watches because they have vision on all the stock. And when ultimately the pieces is sold, then everybody divides the benefits. So it means concretely that the retailer is not left alone with his stock, but if he has to bear a discount, everybody will be dividing that discount. So of course, for the distribution, for the retailers, this is a great novelty, and because it's omni-channel and because everything becomes online, because you sell directly through the application, there is no difference anymore between online and offline. So that sets exactly at the same level the retailers. One single retailer from a small town can be exactly with the same chains to sell as Amazon, for instance. Several big brands from the Swiss industry have already shown a very clear interest. There has been already one first, second round, and already big brands are ready to make tests. And if this works, of course, because it puts everybody together, I think all the parts have a greater interest to be using this program, Brand Cloud, and everybody has something to win.
And based on all his experience and understanding of this part of the watchmaking business, well, he realized that there were no training that addressed these issues. And Thomas has actually now set a new online course called the Mercury Academy with the precise objective of sharing this to those interested in these behind-the-scenes aspects of the industry.
Actually, first, what really surprised me, positively of course, is that 17 people registered. I think that's a lot for a first edition. And the profile were very different. Of course, people interested in the watch business, but you had people from the production side that wanted to understand a bit more what it takes to sell a watch. You had journalists that wanted to get, let's say, a big backstage understanding of what are sales and what's happening. And of course, you had people, numerous people that are launching, entrepreneurs that are launching their brand. One thing very interesting, and of course, for me, it was a public that I thought would be interested, and in fact they were. Go on Kickstarter and type watches. You will see that you have more than 3,600 brands, and Kickstarter is something like, for the watches, something like 3-4 years old. So there is an average of more or less 3 watch brand launch per day on Kickstarter. So you have a lot of people that wanted to understand a bit more what does it take to sell a watch after you create it, how you get to the market, how you choose the right distributor, how you negotiate, etc., etc. And so all this public is very heteroclite, and the good thing as well is that in the course, those people were able, of course, to exchange the ideas and make some networking. So that was a bit the idea too.
So are we ahead of a big revolution? Who knows? But we do know that there are solutions or different ways of looking at this side of the business, and things will evolve in the near future for sure. So all the best. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. See you real soon, and viva watchmaking.